SAN, who made the disclosure to journalists on Tuesday, revealed that Kanu was arrested and brought back to Nigeria on Sunday. He said the arrest followed a collaborative effort between security agencies in Nigeria and the Interpol. Malame further disclosed that Kanu will be taken to the Federal High Court in Abuja for continuation of his trial on charges bordering on terrorism, treasonable felony, unlawful possession of firearms, and the management of an unlawful society. And that has been done. Now it's been to the court 2 of the Federal High Court, where our senior judiciary correspondent, Femi Okowo, has just returned from. Femi Okowo joins us now in the studio. What does this actually mean in this trial process?
It's a restart of the trial process, a process that started on the 14th of October 2015. That was when Nnamdi Kanu was first arraigned. Then he was granted bail. Of course, the trial went for some time, bail arguments, and eventually he was granted bail. It took for some time for him to perfect the bail. He did eventually, with some personalities standing for him. Unfortunately, sometime in March 2019, that bail was revoked because he had jumped bail. He had refused to appear in court. Subsequent trials were called and he did not appear in court. So on the 28th of March 2019, the bail was revoked. And since then, of course, he has been at large, and the court could not proceed with the trial because he wasn't there. Now that he has been intercepted, I think, of course, the court sat today under Justice Binta Nyako. And the first thing that was heard today was an application for remand based on his antecedent. The court granted that application. It was an application to keep him in remand before and possibly during the trial process. Now, that bail application can be brought up again depending on his counsel, his defense counsel, whatever they think. Whenever they bring it up, it can be brought up anytime. But for now, the judge has granted an application for remand. He will be under remand until the 26th of July, when the case will now start again. Now, remember, it's an 11-count charge that he's facing. And you have read out some of the charges before the court. Those charges will continue. But then you don't be surprised that other charges will be added since he jumped bail. Those are offenses different from the ones that the court had when he was arraigned for fresh trial.
Was he in court today?
Oh, sure, he was in court, but he was kept away from the media. He was kept away from as many people. In fact, we were told, we didn't see him when he got into the court, but we were told he was hooded. The explanation, of course, some of the media persons we ask questions because people want to see his picture. People want to see the credibility of federal government rearresting Kanu Nwako. But the security...
Nnamdi Kanu.
Nnamdi Kanu, I'm sorry, please. Nnamdi Kanu. And the security agencies told us that the security of his life, his well-being, is more important for now. When trial commences, we will see him. But for now, they think that his health, his life should not be endangered. They don't want to do anything that would make it possible for anybody to truncate this trial even before it starts again.
And of course, even the process also has global interest and dimensions as well. One would want to ask if his counsel was available today in court, and if there are, hints of some preliminary pleas already in terms of this process.
No, his counsel was in court. It wasn't a case that only the prosecution did. But his counsel did not have much of a hearing. It wasn't supposed to be a trial per se. It was to bring him to court and get the authority of the court to remand him. Or else, it could be another issue. that he was arrested and kept in remand without any court order. So we have a court order to keep him under remand for now.
Of course, before you went to Court 2 of the Federal High Court, you had also attended, a press briefing by the Attorney General of the Federation talking about Abubakar Malami, SAN. Let's listen to a soundbite from that press conference.
On the same date, over his failure to appear in court for hearing. He has, often jumping bail, been accused of engaging in subversive activities that include inciting violence through television, radio, and online broadcast against the Nigerian state and institutions. Kanu was also accused of instigating violence, especially in southeastern Nigeria, that resulted in the loss of lives and property of civilians, military, paramilitary, police force, and destruction of civil institutions and symbols of civil authorities. Self-acclaimed leader of the proscribed secessionist indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has, for your information, been intercepted through the collaborative efforts of the Nigerian intelligence and security services. He has been brought back to Nigeria in order to continue facing trial after disappearing while on bail regarding 11-count charge against him. Recent steps taken by the federal government saw to the interception of the fugitive Kanu on Sunday, the 27th day of June 2021. Inanne Kanyi Nnamdi Ngozi Oku Kanu was born on the 25th September 1967 at Afrauku, Abia State, Nigeria, and indeed a holder of Nigerian passport number AO 8051368827, first issued on the 17th October 2013 at Festac, Lagos. For your information, distinguished members of the press, Kanu is as at now been produced before Federal High Court in continuation of hearing of his case in respect of which he has evaded and indeed jumped bail. Thank you very much, distinguished.
All right, I saw a microphone boldly displayed there. That means you were right there. Yeah. Were you able to ask a few questions in terms of this process and what went on in that press conference?
There are still so many questions to be answered. The media were not allowed to ask questions. I think the security and government are trying to manage the process for now and manage the information. For instance, people would want to know where he was arrested. What did he sneak into Nigeria? So many things people we wanted to find answers to, but they just told us to be patient. All these answers will be provided, and if not provided before trial, during trial, it will become a public trial, of course, and some of these questions will be answered. So at that press conference, the media were not, questions were not entertained.
All right, and I wanted to ask you just before we went to bring that short clip. Were you able to speak with his counsel or his representatives in any way?
No, that's another very secretive thing. Indeed, he did not come in or go out through the main doors of the court. He was sneaked or smuggled through the back door. You know, the courts have doors either for the judges, also for some. Courts also make provision for secret situations, you know, and so he went out. So you see some of the pictures. The people, journalists, cameramen, laid ambush in various parts of the court to make sure they got the best we could get was when the van that took him out was driving out, and it was only by suspicion that oh, that's the van, that's the van. But they played it very right, because by the time the minister was having his press conference, he was already in court. He was already.
And there was no hint that this was happening.
No, there was no. That is another credit to the security agencies and the processes. It's the first time I'm seeing, and the minister just said it now, that he had been in Nigeria since Sunday the 27th, and nobody had any hint until the minister divulged it by himself.
All right, we'll be watching this space, and in terms of timelines, do you have any idea of how we will proceed with this case, or have they been given some dates in terms of what to be expecting in the next couple of weeks or months?
They have been given 26th of July for trial to commence. Now, that is enough time for Nnamdi Kanu to get his lawyers, to get a lawyer of his choice. For this kind of hurried appearance in court, someone can just step forward and say, I am standing for him. The court is not averse to it. But when he's in remand and he now has a date, which he has now, he can source for his lawyers, and the law allows him to have access to any lawyer of his choice, even in the remand where he is.
All right, many thanks to you, ubiquitous judiciary correspondent, Femako, for being on top of that. And of course, we also rely on you in terms of giving us updates on this and many more activities from the judiciary arm. Of course, let's just recap for you. Leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has been rearrested and extradited. And of course, he also was in court today, Court 2, Federal High Court in Abuja. You're watching the Nigerian Television Authority. That has been the special presentation on the breaking news today.